Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Seth. In today's video we're going to be reviewing / rating the movie Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma. Now this movie is directed by Jane Schoenberg and the cast stars Hannah Einbinder as Chris and Julie Anderson as Billy. Now this is by the same director who made I Saw the TV Glow a couple years back, and for me personally, when I saw that movie, it just wasn't my kind of movie, but visually I love the aesthetic and the vibe of that movie. But I can see why people liked I Saw the TV Glow. From what I know about it, it's about the transitional phase from people go through being a kid to now being adults, or even their transition of being transgender and the pressure that comes with it, which is something important to the director because Jane Schoenberg is a transgender person. But when I heard Jane was coming up with another movie, I was intrigued. Jane Schoenberg is definitely a filmmaker who has a vision and knows what they want to say in their movies, and Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma is no exception. Now this is a meta, progressive, and somewhat silly, but in a good way, 80s-ish vibe slasher movie that has some layers to it and some deeper meanings. Now the synopsis of this movie is, it's about a slasher movie called Camp Miasma, and it gets a cult following and even a franchise to this movie. I mean, we're talking sequel after sequel, then into reboot, and it's just trying to keep the franchise going. But Chris, a filmmaker, has a way / idea for a new movie to keep the franchise going in a new, fresher way. She meets up with Billy, who was a part of the original Camp Miasma, and throughout this movie, Chris and Billy, talk and get to know each other, but Chris wants to get Billy to be a part of her new movie. But other things happen to them throughout this movie without trying to get that much out of you in a spoilerish way. Now this movie is about a movie while also trying to make a movie. As I said, it's meta. And it's on the nose if it knows what it's doing. But it's also about how a movie has an effect on us. You could watch the same movie 10 times, but on the 11th watch, you're going to get another message of what this movie is trying to say to you. I also think that this movie talks a lot about how horror movies, when they get famous, they need to have a sequel. They need to have a franchise. They need to have a well-known IP, because when something's good, you need to milk it for everything it's got. And that's what we see a lot with these movies nowadays, especially horror. Everything just can't be one and done on its own. No, we need to keep making sequels, and we need to keep pushing out everything. And after a while, you start to lose the plot of what the actual original movie was about. And also, another topic in this movie I think touches upon is how horror / slasher movies have shaped us from a young age. Watching them, if you were a kid watching this movie, we have grown up destigmatized to violence, and some people would even love seeing it. And some people would even fantasize the killers and the scenarios that these movies bring upon. This is definitely Jane's most ambitious movie. It's a niche artistic movie, but also a love letter to people who love slasher movies. Now onto the technical aspects of this movie. It's visually stunning, which I knew it was going to be before I even seen this movie. I mean, some of the scenes literally look like paintings, but coming into life in movie form. I also love the 80s slasher vibes aesthetic to it, and Gillian Anderson as Billy does a really good job acting in this movie. But overall, I like this movie and what it had to say and how it looked. My rating for this movie would be a 3.5 out of 5. Now, thank you for watching. That is my movie. That's my review and rating on it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and goodbye!